Here we are. I am live, says YouTube. Hi to Ben. Talk about Forest in a bit. We're back to talk about the Championship. It feels like there's been an international break, but there hasn't. I think the FA Cup thing with a lot of teams resting players gives it that type of feel, like everyone's kind of had a week off a little bit. Don't know what the influence of the FA Cup games will be for a lot of the teams. I suppose you can spin it both ways for a lot of them. 8 out of the top 9 are going to be playing each other. Evening, John. And we've got 2 all top 6 games also, with Leeds playing Derby and West Brom playing Norwich. That'll be the first 2 games we'll talk about. Let's just quickly preface all of this by saying that the form table at the moment, if you've forgotten, because we haven't had a round of games now for a couple of weeks, Hull on the top of the form table and Wigan all the way down the bottom. So let's start at the top of the table. Leeds are still up the top, and they are at home to Derby in 6th place. I'm going to be at this game tomorrow, so do check out review. Leeds need to strengthen to stay top 2, says Joe, unless Bielsa really is God. I think a lot of people in Leeds probably do already think that he is God, but yes, they need to do a mixture of strengthening and getting players back from injury. Cooper is probably going to be back. He played for the under-23s. So Leeds had 2 defeats on the trot. Hello, Dominic. Leeds had 2 defeats on the trot after that brilliant winning streak. They went out of the cup at QPR. So I don't know whether you're calling that. Did I write? Thanks, Ed. I think I wrote 2018 on the title of the video. I will change that. Matt Lumsden says Evans out. We'll get to Ipswich at the end. They're always at the bottom, aren't they? So 3 defeats on the trot, really, in all competitions for Leeds, but I don't think anyone will be too worried about the FA Cup defeat. Heavy on the injury still, and the big one is that Pablo Hernandez, who, if you watch my videos, you'll know what a big fan I am of his. He is doubtful for Friday night. Now, that would be a big loss if he doesn't play. We know Hernandez and Roof, when they weren't around, Leeds' results really dropped off. Cooper may well be back. John says Leeds really need to get a marker down. Norwich fan, we'll do Norwich in a minute, Tone 07. So Derby have got a cover. I think this is a Leeds fan, so I'll go with this. We need to put the season into perspective. Leeds, I would have been happy with top 10. Now I don't know what to think. And Joe says Phillips suspended is a big miss. Calvin Phillips, of course, got sent off against Forest. PV Thunder, if Hernandez is out significant amount of time and Harvey Barnes, I recall that the top 2 catchable could be interesting. True Line, are you going to do more Millwall games? If the calendar allows me, I go where the calendar allows me, but do love going to Millwall, obviously. I don't know whether Hernandez is going to be out for long. What I read, it certainly wasn't a big injury. Leeds have no midfield as well. If Phillips is suspended, they're definitely light there. Let's talk about Derby. They're still in 6th, fairly draw heavy. They're 4 points up on the chasers, so they've got a bit of a cushion. But come on, you've got a 4-point cushion. You're going away to the league leaders. Not the greatest situation. And there's 5 teams chasing as well. False news on Karanka. Yeah, we'll get onto Forest in a little bit, Ben. So Derby, people breathing down their neck. They won't want to lose this one because you can guarantee 1, 2 of those teams are definitely going to win. Hernandez will be out just 1 or 2 games, says Ed. Oliver says the fish tank's back. Lots of people just look in the background, hey? Wilson a doubt for Derby, so I suppose you take Hernandez from one team, and although I would argue that Hernandez is more important to Leeds than Wilson is to Derby, even with all his mega free kicks. Prediction, let me know what you think down the side here. Leeds at home to Derby. Don't think it will be easy for Leeds. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Tight one. Look, if Hernandez is there, I'm going to go for Leeds, and if he's not, I'm going to go for a draw. So I'll hedge my bets. I'm going to assume that he's going to be there. So I'm going to back Leeds to beat Derby. Let's go on. Now, this is a big game we've been talking about for a while on the channel. Waghorn with a hat-trick. Oh, Waghorn, how we miss you at Ipswich. West Brom, now down in 4th. The Blades have, Joe says, could go either way, but not a draw. Yeah, that's probably a fair comment with Leeds at the moment. Right, let's talk West Brom v Norwich. West Brom now in 4th. I had this pegged as 3rd against 2nd for ages, but really the entire top 3, as they were, Leeds, Norwich and West Brom, all dropping off the last few weeks, dropping points over the last couple of games, and Sheffield United siphoning in between Norwich and West Brom. Norwich went out of the cup to Pompey. Oliver says he'd take a draw. I'm sure you would, actually, because this is really one of those ones where you don't want to lose to a rival. Holgate to West Brom. Happy New Year, Ben. Must catch up for a beer. I assume you'll be at West Brom. For any Norwich fans, and hello, Match Day with Max. Subscribe to his channel, Great Forest channel. They rested a lot of players, Norwich, against Pompey, so I don't think they'll be too bothered. And if you look at the end when they conceded the goal, they were proper not wanting a replay by the looks of it, and just piling everyone forward and saying, look, we'll either score or we'll lose, but we're not having a replay. Toughest run of the season, they're just starting, Norwich. I know they have. West Brom, then they've got Birmingham. I'm going to be at that game next week. So there'll be a review of Norwich, Birmingham. Then I believe they've got Sheffield United. Then they go away to Leeds as well, and then the mighty East Anglian derby. Although I'm sure they're not too quaking in their boots about that. So they're going into their most difficult run. McLean and Hanley both back, although Hanley seems to be being edged back in. Ewan says I'm going West Brom, and the score could be anything. Joe says, where am I sitting at Leeds? Joe, I'm in the top tier of that really big stand. So give us a comment on here or whatever if you're in the same stand, and I'll say hello. Buendia and Steeperman back next week. And Leitner still next month, I think. And Norwich, even though Vrancic is playing well. Oh, Hanley's suspended, Uncle Duck. Thank you. Yeah, he got a red card against Pompey, didn't he? So what are we expecting? Zimmerman and Closer at the back for Norwich, which I have questioned when Zimmerman and Godfrey. I think a bit stronger with Closer in there. They do miss, even though Vrancic has played well, they do miss Leitner setting the tempo there. Norwich. So West Brom won in the cup with a weakened team. Livermore is suspended, so you can take him out of that midfield. Gale and Higazi likely to be back from what I've read. West Brom also stuttering 1 point after the last 2. A win would put West Brom above Norwich, but I think we had one of the Norwich. Let me know your predictions, what you think West Brom, Norwich. I had one of the Norwich fans saying, I'll take a draw. It's absolutely key for Norwich that they do not lose this. Uncle Duck says, Lewis, Tetty, Brendia, all likely to be back. Okay, maybe on the bench, possibly. I wouldn't have thought they'll all be in the first team. Tetty's important to Norwich in the midfield as well. Oliver says 1-1. John says Baggies 3-1. Ewan says 3-3. Both these teams got, Matt says 3-3 as well. Both these teams got lightning attacks, but Norwich really aren't going to want to lose this. But then again, if you're a Sheffield United fan, you're sitting there saying, draw, yes please, because you take, possibly they can take 2 points out of both teams. Red Dog here, it says 8-8. Yeah, if you can guarantee that, get me a ticket there, and I'll skip out the Ipswich game and head up there now. Draw, yes please, says PV. I think he's Leeds, so yeah. Someone's going to drop some points. Sod's Law 0-0, says Liam. I'm going to sound like a biased Ipswich fan. I haven't backed Norwich to lose for ages. West Brom are powerful up front, but then again they can. I don't know. Let's sit on the fence. Let's go for that very unhelpful draw, unless you're a Sheffield United or a Leeds fan. West Brom and Norwich to draw. So let's go on to Sheffield United. They've really taken advantage because they've won 3 on the trot and taken like 6 and 7 points. Yeah, we've got to talk about, Jack says, talk about Gary Medine signing. Very controversial. Now, I think there's some history with Medine and Sheffield United. He's come in on loan from Cardiff. If you remember last season, Cardiff brought Gary Medine in to get them through the last few months. I don't think he scored a goal, but he was actually used quite well by... I know Warnock's football was very bespoke, but Medine would come on with 30, 25 minutes. Billy says away win. Looking forward to Elland Road. Restate my prediction. I think I went for Leeds if Fernandez is playing. Would I have Medine at Ipswich Town? God, yes I would. But I think the use of Medine for Cardiff, John says never rated Medine, had a purple patch at Bolton but looked useless every time I've seen. His use for Cardiff was just, they'd soften teams up and then he'd come in and just a big, horrible presence. Scored a lovely goal against Ipswich I saw at the Reebok or Macron or whatever it's called in Bolton last year. It is a good signing, but Sheffield United don't exactly play Warnock-type football. But it's an extra option. I know they've got Clark, who's a big guy. Look, we said they needed more bodies, more numbers, and if it means they can take some heat off McGoldrick and Sharp up front and do some of the heavy lifting for them, I think it's a good signing. And Dowell as well, we expect to be in there. So key weekend for the Blades this week with those other two. Medina's a poor man's Jutkovic. The numbers would certainly agree with that. We'll see how he does for the Blades. He's certainly, Birmingham really played to Jutkovic's strengths, and I don't know whether Sheffield United will play to Medine's strength. But it's a plan B, isn't it? QPR are in that pack of teams. Billy, where do you see Sheffield United QPR game being won, lost? Comes down just a sec. Pack of teams on 39. 2 draws for them in the last 2, keeping them away from Derby in 6. They did have, a draw away at Villa in there, so that was a good result. And they went through against Leeds and rested some players. I can't remember who just asked. I think it was possible. Was it Jack? No, Billy. Sorry, just asked how you see this one panning out. By the way, get your predictions in down the side for Sheffield United QPR. This will be Sheffield United with the ball and QPR holding off and counter-attacking. John says QPR keeps surprising me when I fancy them to slip up. They've had a really good season, haven't they? So it depends how well QPR execute that game plan. You know, with a Red Dog says 3-1 to the Blades. You know, with Sheffield United, if they get that 3-5-2 and they get the passing right, that they will beat most teams, especially Bramall Lane. I'm going to go for Sheffield United. I back them a lot this season and I like the way they play. Liam says Queen's Park time wasters. Interesting. Glenn, evening Ben. You just missed Sheffield United and I predicted them to win. There you go. So it's my fault if they lose. Let's go on. Birmingham versus Borough. This will be a nice... Trigger Nation says 2-0 to the Blades. Ezzy and Freeman are vital in this game. Agree. Good evening, son, says New Day. United 2, QPR 1. That's likely. You probably think they need to score 2. Probably leave themselves open. Those Freeman set plays are hard work, aren't they? Birmingham Borough. This should be a powerful old battle. This one, a bit of a old school one. Both teams very powerful on the set plays, and it should be interesting one. This one. Borough 7 points in the last 4, so they're in better form and. 5-0 over Peterborough in the cup. Van La Parra in nearly full strength squad, says John. 2-2 says New Day on this one. Lots of links for Borough. There's going to be some money spent there, isn't there? Madger, Mopai, Sawyers, all linked. Expect some movement. Birmingham draw heavy. Billy says Birmingham 3, Borough 1. Only 5 defeats all season, but Pedersen, Cotter, and Vassell all possibly back for this one. Matt says Tony Pulis out. If they give him money, he's going nowhere. Matt says Birmingham for the playoffs as well. Interesting on that one. That would certainly be a triumph for Gary Monk. This one should be quite tight. What you've got is Borough have got the best defence in the league, and Birmingham have got the most prolific strike partnership. And Dan right on cue says 0-0. Haha. Vassell back is huge for us, says John. This is a really difficult one to call. So tight. Let's give it to... Tim says Pulis, the McCarthy of the Championship now. a 1-1 draw. Do you know what? Let's go with what Tim's just said. 1-1. You can't see many of them. Everyone wants a Brentford player in their squad, Ben. Yeah, a lot of people do. Negative football under Pulis, says Trigger. No, so yeah, let's go 1-1. You can still see Adams or Jutkovic scoring, but not any more than 1. Birmingham certainly stepped up this season. Bet you still had McCarthy. No chance. No chance, Dan. So yeah, we'll go for a draw, Birmingham and Borough. Let's move on, Reading and Forest. So this Karanka nonsense still rumbles on. There's some meeting planned about, John quickly on that one says 2-1 Blues, Vassell to score off the bench. That would be quite the return. Some meeting planned between Marianakis and Karanka over transfer stuff. Big win for Forest against Leeds in the last one. Big win for Karanka for sure. Graben's still not involved in the last 2 games, the top scorer, so I don't know whether he comes back in for this one. Reading went out of the cup to Man United. They're bottom of the form table. Jose Gomez seems to have his feet under the table. They have got in Baker and Ejaria from Chelsea and Liverpool, but compared to my team, Ipswich's signings, Ipswich are going for the experienced heads. Reading have gone for 2 young guys. Ejaria, it was hard for him at Sunderland last season, and Baker was at Leeds. No, I think I'm wrong about that. Wherever Baker. Local press around the Forest boss has been typical stupid clickbait. Maybe he does stay, but sometimes there's no smoke about fire. This whole Karanka thing is daft, says John. Clearly something in it, which means we all know how it's going to end. That was my point there. No smoke without fire. Ilori back in training. The other day I watched the Championship game, says Nick, 7 ex-Brentford players. There you go. But Varson in contention as well. Gomez says 5 or 6 more players will leave in January from Reading, so they're having a bit of a sort out. If he gets that wrong, they will go down. Dangerous time to shift a lot of players. Baker couldn't get in the Leeds team, right? Thanks, Joe. What's that? What's the same? No, I'm thinking of Brown, aren't I? That they've got on the line, not Baker. Silly me. I've got to go for a tight Forest away win in this. Yeah, that's a good point, Liam. Who's available who could take over Forest? Although I just seen a link with the ex Leon manager Jardine, so I'm sure they'd take that. Tim says 0-1 Forest. I think I agree. I think Forest will be able to shut Reading out. Majeski's always a nice place for teams to go, I think. Let's go for Forest win. Alan Kerbishley is available, says New Day. Excellent stuff. Kerbishley linked with every job for the last 20 years. Wigan versus Villa. Wigan bottom of the form chart. Did I say Reading were bottom of the form chart? Yeah, Baker was at Leeds, recalled. Red Dog says 3-1. John says Gary Rowett to Forest. Big Sam to Forest. Lovely stuff. We'll get on to Mr. Rowett in a minute. I think I said Reading were bottom of the form table. They're not. Wigan are. I got that wrong. Sorry. So Wigan versus Villa. Abraham linked with all and sundry and then says he's going to stay at Villa. That's probably a smart move. Sherwood to Forest. Villa 1-0. Stephen's asking about Cedric in the tank. He's swimming around looking resplendent. What a beautiful fish he is. Wigan signed Pilkington from Cardiff. Yes, they do. And Ipswich missing out on Pilkington. He's got a bit of a championship expert, promoted last year with Cardiff. I remember him coming in and scoring the winner at Sheffield United. Really important goals. Warnock knows how to play this division, so does Pilkington. So Abraham is staying. Kalinic, Villa. Do I like David Bowe? I love David Bowe. Wonderful. Miss him greatly. Resplendent 10 out of 10 comment. John says Villa will win. So Kalinic, Villa, who were falling foul of financial fair play at the start of the season, have signed a £7 million goalkeeper, as you do. So I assume their accountants are happy with that. Courtney Howe's strength at centre back. Pilkington decent. Yeah, I agree. I would have liked Pilkington as well, KB. Elphick there, so they've got much more options. They were playing James Bree at centre back when I last saw them. Too many draws for Villa. They're still missing Grealish, who's up there with Hernandez for my favourite players in the league. Surely, though, Wigan 6 defeats out of 7. Villa should be much higher without the injury. Still thick squad there, Liam. 3-1 turn Saturday. Yeah, Wigan 6 defeats out of 7. I've got to go for Villa. He was at fault for 2 of the Swansea goals. Really, Villa can't see that because Neeland was a problem there, wasn't he? Let's go on. Bristol City versus Bolton. Bristol City continue their good run in the Cup. Maybe Huddersfield. They're a good Cup team, actually. I'm sure Lee Johnson loves those one-off games and that old TV attention there. Smith, Wells, Pisano, all out about Casey Palmer, who, yeah, we've done Birmingham, Matthew. You have to watch back. I predicted a draw. It was really exciting. You should definitely watch back. Casey Palmer was on loan at Blackburn. He's gone now across to Bristol City to help them out. And strangely, this game, Bristol City-Bolton, is the FA Cup fourth round game as well for these two teams. So twice in, when is it, 26? Twice in 3 weeks they'll be playing. Done Leeds Derby, Rory. Sorry, you're top of the league, guys, there. Absolute shit show at Bolton this week. God knows what's going on there. Someone out of the Forest Green owner and the Bolton owner is not telling the truth about Christian Doidge. Threatened legal action, lots of mud being slung. I don't know. Sean says, in the reports, it bugs me. What car do you drive? It's a VW Passat. There you go. Bolton under registration. Yeah, a couple of winding up orders for Bolton. Ben Marshall, any good? Birmingham looking at loaning. I think Ben Marshall's very good. In the Championship, you always need a set play guy, and he's certainly that. Tim says 1-0 to Bristol. Bolton will try and bore the hell out of the game. So we don't know what's going to happen with this Bolton Forest Green thing. Forest Green threatening to sue, although a wise man once told me there are people that threaten to sue and people that sue. And if you're going to sue, you just sue and you don't threaten to sue. So we'll actually see what transpires there. Bolton did have a great win over Walsall, 5-2 McGuinness with a hat-trick. That will not do him any harm. Amazingly, Telemir Khan, who can play Bolton's debt to Norwich. Yeah, so apparently money owed for Remy Matthews as well. Norwich apparently not interested in loaning Marshall out, says John. Yeah, also Norwich, when will they sue, says Mr. H. Yeah, Bolton were out of the bottom three a couple of weeks ago, but Rotherham's win last week has put them in. Look, I don't see Bolton going to Bristol City and getting anything. Let me know what you think down the side, but I've got to go for a home win and the Lee Johnson streak to bomb on and continue there. Let me give you advance warning of this one. Preston versus Swansea. So we got Sam Wilf. Bristol City to win 3-0. Adam says 0-0. He's going for a Phil Parkinson special there. Right, Preston, I'll warn you this time. Preston versus Swansea. Get me your predictions in down the side. Something needs to be done to Bolton. Loaning players are not paying and not good. Bristol City 2, Bolton 2, says Billy. Six-figure sum in unpaid wages for Matthews. And I think I got, was it Wiltshire, the other name? Right, here we go. Preston 2, Swansea 2, says New Day. These two teams have been... Nick, we haven't done Ipswich yet. They're always at the end because they're bottom of the league, fella. Really stitching me up in the predictions, Preston and Swansea. Really hard to predict. Preston have gone on that great run, and then the injuries have seen them fall off a cliff. Lost, drawn, lost the last four. Swansea just totally inconsistent, and then they really good win, as Mr. H says, away at Aston Villa. Preston signing 2-1 Preston, says Andy. 2-1 Swansea, says Trigger Nation. 1-1 draw, says Tim. Preston tough nut at home, agree with that. 2-1 Preston, says Billy. Yeah, so Brad Potts from Barnsley, Connor Ripley, who I saw play for Accrington the other day, Josh Ginley in from Walsall, and the much linked, hi Dave, the much linked Stockley from Exeter also goes in there. If I've learned anything this season from watching Ipswich, Villa side just poor, says Liam, in respect to the Swansea last game. One thing I've learned from watching Ipswich this season is don't bring in a load of lower division players at once and play them all. So hopefully they'll slide those players through. H. Huss says, if Ipswich got promoted, would you do Premier League videos? Yes, I would. I'd love to, but they're not going to. Brad Potts is good. Yeah, he's got championship experience with Barnsley, hasn't he? Preston, just the injury crisis though. Maltz, Robinson, Harrop, Bowden. I think Pearson suspended for ages as well for getting 10 yellow cards. Swansea haven't signed anyone. Potter complaining how tricky the transfer window is. I think I'm going to go with the people who say Preston are a tough nut at home. Maybe one of those debut guys will make the difference. Surely they'll throw one of them in there. Possibly Stockley might do something at the end there. Let's go for a tight Preston win. There, on we go. Predictions in down the side. We'd love to see you predict the table at the end of the season. I'll try. It's just embarrassing when you watch it back. Will you do championship videos with Ipswich in League One? Always get up there. Matt says me up front would save Ipswich. If you see me play football, Matt, I am shocking. Yeah, sorry, I just got asked again. The championship videos will continue next season. Blue Monday podcast will continue. Championship videos will continue. I will make sure of it. Do not worry. We've got too many subscribers and nice people watching live streams to stop this now. Hull drawn 1-1-1-1-1. Just keep on winning, Hull. They went out of the cup at Millwall. I'm sure they're not too bothered about that. In amazing form. I think I saw the manager of the month poll go up today. Surely Adkins is going to get the manager of the month. Come from nowhere to be absolutely brilliant. Can the run continue? They're at home. Matt says Hull for the playoffs. They're a long way back. Liam says Hull to win the league. Well, if that win thing continues, then yes, they will win the league, but they need probably another 15 straight wins to get up to the top, I would have thought, to catch Leeds. Wednesday, still waiting for Bruce. They're off to Luton for a League Cup replay next week. Luton obviously just losing Nathan Jones, who we're going to talk about. Give me some predictions here. No more Leeds in the Championship next season, most likely. I know. Yeah, we all love Leeds. We all love Leeds, say the Leeds fans. We will miss Leeds if they do go, and their Sky TV chant, which is probably my favourite childish chant. Adam says 2-0. Hull, I think there's probably something in that. Hull, the best team Leeds have played, although form can change quickly, says Joe. Yeah, you got to go with Hull at the moment. Bruce is at a pie eating contest rather than the dugout, says Billy. Typical championship for Wednesday win, yeah. 2-1 Hull. Confidence boosting. New Day says 2-1 Hull. Let's go with the consensus. Let's go for Hull. 4-2 says Matt. Go on, give us a good 4-2. Moving on, get your predictions in now. Brentford versus Stoke at Griffin Park. Remember, Stoke under a new manager. Will there be a new manager? He's only been there. He's probably only going to meet the players. Do train with them. No, he probably won't even train with them, will they? They'll probably travel tomorrow, won't they? Not train. Be really interesting to see how that pans out. 0-0 says KB. 3-1 Brentford. 3-0 Stoke says Billy. 2-1 Brentford. 3-1 Stoke. Oliver says Paul Lambert legend status almost achieved when he relegates Ipswich. Oliver, I appreciate the joke, but it won't be Paul Lambert's fault if Ipswich go down. Believe you me, he's trying everything. Anyway, we're on Brentford Stoke. A lot of mixed results there. New Day says 2-2. So Rowett out, Jones in. Seems a bit of a gamble. Matthew says bad idea. Reminds me McCarthy for Hurst. Be interesting. It is a hard step up. Although I suppose there's a big difference between the Stoke playing squad and the Ipswich playing squad. Jones has got a lot of good players there to work with, I would suggest. Still, gamble. There you go. What's my championship game of the season? It was not Villa Forest. The best one I saw live was Leeds Villa the other week. Absolutely incredible stuff. Rumours Lambert to Wigan. Trash talk. Yeah, no chance of that. Big gamble by Stoke, but yeah, strong squad. Brentford, they've gone to this 3-5-2 now. Picked up a little bit recently. Unbeaten in 4, but 3 draws in that one. The predictions were mixed. I think the spectre of Rowett will loom large, and Stoke will pragmatically get a draw from this one. What about QPR 3? The Ipswich Norfolk game said, it was shocking, Billy, wasn't it? Absolutely shocking. Millwall versus Blackburn. Blackburn bounced back from 3 straight losses. They beat West Brom last time out. Fantastic result. Get your predictions in here. Millwall versus Blackburn. Difficult one to call. Their games are starting to ease up now a little bit for Blackburn. They're down to 15th, but their points tally is healthy. I don't see them in any danger this season. They've had a really good season. Haven't seen anything written about Bradley Dack yet. Millwall 1, Blackburn 2, says Matt. As I say about Millwall, only turn up after the Harris's Christmas sale. Very good, Mr. H. Millwall, 3 straight wins, like a flash. Liam says Millwall to lose. Adam says 1-1. Draw, says John. Blackburn to win 2-0, says Nick. Yeah, 3 straight wins. Their manager and Ipswich's terrible collapse bailed them out. They weren't actually that good in the first half. Millwall 2, Blackburn 1. Millwall 1 last 4-0. Comps agreed. Millwall 1, Blackburn 1, says Tim. It's the Den, isn't it? Blackburn are hard to beat. Alex Pearce at Millwall, yeah, he'll be with Cooper at centre half. Billy says 1-1. I'm procrastinating here. If Birmingham can't give him a contract due to EFL, Michael Morrison is a free agent at the end of the season. Michael Morrison will not be a free agent for long if he is a free agent. Good player. KB says 2-1 away win. Andy says Wool 2, Blackburn. Neil, let's go for a fourth straight win for Millwall. They're good at home. They're on a bit of a roll. We know how they start games at the Den. Often take the lead in 15 minutes at the Den. So let's go for a Millwall win, which leads us to Ipswich Town versus Rotherham. 24th versus 21st. And I suppose I'm quite comfortable with this now because there's been so many must-win games that Ipswich haven't won. Thoughts on Ian Milne leaving? I'll come to that in just a sec. That's Ian Milne, the Ipswich, what was he, managing director? KB says 0-0. We'll probably all relax now. Billy says Ipswich 0, Rotherham 7. Even if you think Ipswich are going to lose, Rotherham ain't going to score 7. When Ipswich lose to Rotherham, it's completely over. Yeah, if they do lose. Yeah, Nick says don't care as long as we win. New Day says 4-2. Sadly, Rotherham to win by a goal in a tight game. Ian says Ipswich 4, Rotherham 2. Adam 3-1. Come on, you Chector boys. Oliver Raggett 90th minute winner for Rotherham. Yeah, Norwich loan player there. Birmingham season will revolve around the EFL here. Right, let's talk about this Ipswich shiz then. So they're 10 points adrift, but the team they're 10 points adrift of is Rotherham, and you're playing them at home. So they're really, really big game. Ipswich 9, Rotherham 1, home win. We get some interesting predictions here. Regards Ian Milne. From what I heard of the press conference from Lambert today, and I know Lambert is very good at talking and saying the right thing. It always makes me believe what he's saying. Sean says, just don't lose. We need to win, Sean, I'm afraid. Sears hat-trick incoming. So I wonder if Sears will actually start with all the new players in. So yeah, Milne, I don't see that will make much difference. H. Huss, did you watch that Sunderland documentary? Yes, I watched it like that, seeing all the similarities with Ipswich. Lambert to sub himself in. Yes, some signings for Ipswich. So James Collins is coming tomorrow. We're expecting Will Keane has come. Colin Quainer has come, and we saw the left back Elder with the news that Milne is leaving. It doesn't look like Evans will appoint a new MD. It looks like he's going to be around a bit more often, which is what everybody's asked for a start. D. Neal says win, but we will still go down. Interesting. Look, let's be bold here. Let's go for I think Billy. I think he's talking about James Conn. I think that's happening tomorrow. Someone's just mentioned Will Vaulks. That's the danger, isn't it? Rotherham sit back, and set play. Quainer thoughts. Well, let's give him a chance. He's certainly our highest ranking striker. John Merrill says the big guy from Huddersfield. Oh Jesus, he's useless. John, have you seen us play this season? Useless compared to what it's allowed. I'll say let's go for an Ipswich win. Why not? Do I think 3 new signings will strengthen Ipswich? Yes, I do. Will it strengthen them enough? I am not sure. Okay, so we have got through all the predictions. Is the preview podcast out? Yes, GC04 it is. Harry has done the business with Richard on Rotherham. So I haven't actually listened to it yet. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. Ben, will we be able to join in your favourite Sky TV song at least? Assuming it gets sung, I will smile along and have a little sing. Quainer is a clunk. What's a clunk? Deary me. Right, questions. If you subscribe, you'll get the warning. Is it warning? Advanced notice of these feeds, and you can put questions in. Ben says, what area do you think Forest need to invest in this January? I think he's right. He's mentioned goalkeepers. Pantilimon has been a bit dodge. Am I going to Norwich away? Yes, I will be at Norwich away, hiding somewhere. Although we need photo ID to go to Norwich away. Unbelievable things. Linked with goalkeepers such as Tom Heaton. I'll tell you what, Forest will be made up with Tom Heaton there. Do they need another? I suppose they've got Murphy with Graven. Ipswich will come 20 if I will bite your hand off. Quainer will score 9 goals this half a season. Ian, I hope you are right. Put a double on Ipswich to make the playoffs. Well, no chance. Brandon Amos. Who do you think will finish in the playoffs considering the abundance of teams capable? God. I've constantly gone with Leeds and West Brom for the top 2. The The problem I've got with the playoffs at the moment is that Forest and Villa are outside them, and I like both of those teams. Borough seem to be the worst team in the playoffs, and West Brom and Derby have both got inexperienced managers. So I'm going to hedge my bets and say 6 teams out of Norwich, Blades, Borough, Derby, Forest and Villa. There you go, if that's a non-politician's answer. Ipswich might make the playoffs in League One next season. Hey, that might be fun, mightn't it? Other questions. Ben, what do you think of Medine to Blades? I think we covered that, Paul, earlier in the season. I think that's a good sign. Steve Morrison to Ipswich. It'd be nice, actually, to take Steve Morrison. Casey Palmer to Bristol City. Yeah, we didn't talk about it. No, we did. Sheffield United have no money to improve. That is very true. Glenn says 4 months to go on the Blades. Anything can happen. Owen is asked about Quaynor. We've had a few interesting opinions. KB says Norwich will win the league. I tell you what, if Norwich go through this little period against Sheffield United, Leeds, West Brom and get 2 points per game, then they may well win the league. Let's see it. Want a cold beer, Ben? Nick, I had to stop drinking. I was a musician, and everywhere I went, I got free drinks. Ipswich. Oh, sorry, the comment. Who do you think has been the manager of the season so far in the Championship? Farker, Wilder, or Bielsa, the top 3, isn't it? Leeds concede too much. So do West Brom, so do Norwich. So I don't think it matters. Can QPR get playoffs, says Billy. Oh, it's going to be so hard, Billy. They're not going to be bringing anybody in, and everybody else will at the end of this month. So we'll see. Let's go. This is John. Thoughts on Stoke's new manager? I totally agree. Hell of a gamble. Hope it pays off. Fark, manager of the season. If he gets them up, then yes, possibly manager of the season. I think Stuart Webber might want to take that. February the 16th, the day of the day, the Blue Monday Live show. Come to that one. Neymar to Birmingham on loan. Well, if that's true, then give me Birmingham for the playoffs. Bristol City will get playoffs, says Oliver. Interesting, cool. Tom says, an Ipswich fan, what's your opinion on Norwich's promotion push? Incredibly impressed with Norwich's promotion push. Came out of absolutely nowhere. Everything Ipswich have done wrong. John says, manager of the season, Rotherham guy, if they stay up. I'll give him that one as well. No budget there at Rotherham at all. Everything Ipswich have done wrong, Norwich have done right. Recruitment's been brilliant and just an incredible run. Just worry if they lose Pookie for any amount of time. Think he makes them tick. So yeah, super impressed with Norwich. Looking forward to seeing them play against Birmingham in a couple of weeks. Simon says, West Brom and Norwich should be a hell of a game. Hope we win or draw on Saturday. Will be tough. He also says, you're feeling more confident with the business Ipswich have done. A little bit, but we're talking about 8% confident instead of 3% confident, right? Ian has given me a load of predictions, so you can always put your predictions in. James asking about Reading's new signing. Jack, we did Leeds Derby right at the start. I went for Leeds, providing that Hernandez is fit. New Day says Norwich will finish about 8th. They're going to have to be really bad for the rest of the season. Does David Diamond say? No, he doesn't, Ian. Incredibly, very nubile man. Steve Bruce to win the attendance award. Excellent, Liam. Reading signings, I think it's a bit of a gamble. Young guys, Crispy Bits asking, where do you see Sheffield United finishing? Do you know, I hope they finish in the playoffs. So, you know, to go against these... Onel Hernandez is better than Pablo Oliver. I like both, but Pablo Hernandez is really good. Thoughts on the Karanka situation? I think it's ridiculous. City ground, Shelfie there. Right, I think we've done all the questions. Fire in a few more if you can. If Birmingham get points deduction, we won't finish about 16. It's still been a brilliant job by Gary Monk. Oh, someone asked about Sheffield United, hadn't they? You should make a song about the whole Evans reign. That'd be very depressing and very niche, won't it? I can try. Sheffield United fall out of the top 6, sadly. Too many money. That's what I was saying about Sheffield United. Have I heard Joe Hart might go on loan in the Championship? That'd be interesting. Forest would do with him, wouldn't they? How many loans will you have in their bank? Can only have a match. So we've got 5 loans at Ipswich at the moment. Matt says, will I be at Leeds Derby? Yes, I will be at Leeds Derby in the top tier. I think Joe said it was the East stand. So if you're going, tweet me and say hello. Yeah, Sheffield United, Rory says Leeds for automatic. I think so once Berardi, Bamford, DDD. If Ipswich stay up, you have to go bald. No chance. Do you know how long this takes to even watch, let alone grow? Remember, guys, whatever happens to the team, football is the winner. There you go. Birmingham Norwich on Sky on Friday night. I'm going to be at that game as well. So if you're a Birmingham or a Norwich fan, give me a shout. I am in I'm going to sit near Stephen Fry in that one and Delia. I think I'm around that side for that game. Looking forward to that Sky game. Just was going to say about Sheffield United. Be nice to see. I know Norwich are probably going to do it as well. One of the no, Norwich were a parachute in a Premier League team. So it'd be nice to see Sheffield United coming from League One. Leeds, West Brom and Sheffield United to go up. Do you see Freddie staying next year? Whoever is missing out on Auto out of Norwich, Leeds and Baggies will struggle in the playoffs. That's an interesting point by John, because none of them can defend, and you can see them getting Pulis, McLaren's, whoever. But going to be a couple of inexperienced managers in the playoffs, I think. If Darren Moore's possibly there, Frank Lampard's there. Matthew, how was Accrington the other day? It was absolutely horrible, Matthew. You can check out the review on the channel. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I did a video on Gary Rowett being fired, so take a look at that on the channel. Match reviews. Cheers, says Glenn. Hull released a statement today saying none of the top players for sale. How do you rate their chances now? I think they're going to finish in the top 10, but nothing else. Bielsa teams fall away in the second half tradition. Yeah, interesting, very, very interesting. Yeah, so if you're at Leeds Derby, give me a tweet and say hello if you're in the East Stand. And if you're at Ipswich Rotherham, give me a shout and say hello there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to be at those two games, so check out the reviews for that. Get involved in the comments. Thanks, Dave. Latest to you too. Then I will do this again. We need to figure out, with you guys who are watching, Nick says, thank you, Nick. We need to figure out the best time on a Sunday regularly to do the review stream. I can either do it at sort of 10:30 in the morning or 6:30 at night. Yes, Matt, please Ipswich Town win, but hey, too much hope expended this season. So let me know in the comments what time would you think for a regular. I'm thinking Thursday preview show. Where do I sit at Portman Road? Normally in the top of the Pioneer. Depends if my missus is with me or not, because she prefers to sit a bit lower down. But if I'm on my own, I'm always up there. Joseph, thanks. These live videos are great. 6:30. Amazing there. You put it out. One person says 6:30, Nick, and then KB says 10:30. So we'll have to figure out when we're going to regularly do it. Good luck, Tractor Jesus. There we go. John says 10:30, I think, Sunday. Be nice to get that out of the way and done. We'll be back with more content. I am now going to sign off. 10:30 says Crispy Bits. 10. Yes, my missus is an Ipswich fan. I have corrupted her. Matt, it's not her fault. Bless her. Although I did take her to Fulham, and she was like, "Oh, this is nice. I think I prefer it here than Ipswich." So there you go, woman of expensive taste. Right, I am definitely off. We'll see you for the Leeds review and Derby. We'll see you for the Ipswich review, Blue Monday podcast, and probably 10:30, judging by the comments, on Sunday we'll have another live stream. Thank you for watching. 42 minutes. There you go. Okay. Yeah, but look what she gets in return. Hey, KB. Bye, everyone.